Let me tell you about a conversation I had with my dad last week. We're sitting at his kitchen table, same table I grew up eating at. He's drinking coffee. I'm drinking coffee, and he says something that just about makes my head explode. You know, when I was your age, I was making $38,000 a year. We had the house, 2 kids. Your mom stayed home. We took vacations. Why is it so hard for your generation? And I just stared at him. Because here's the thing. I make $86,000, more than double what he made. I can't afford any of that. Not the house, not the kids, not the stay-at-home spouse, definitely not the vacations. And for a second, I felt like maybe he was right. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Then I did the math, and what I found is going to make you furious. Your parents aren't wrong about their experience. They could afford life, but they're completely wrong about why you can't. The game changed. The board got flipped, and nobody told you the rules were different. My name is Mike, and I spend way too much time explaining to boomers why their kids are broke. If you've ever had this exact conversation with your parents and left feeling like a failure, hit that subscribe button, because I'm about to validate every frustration you've ever had. Let's break down the numbers they don't want to see. Here's what you need to understand before we go any further. This isn't about blaming your parents. They worked hard. They made sacrifices. Their experience was real, but their advice is useless, because they're giving you a map to a country that doesn't exist anymore. According to the Federal Reserve economic data, in 1995, the median household income was $38,262. In 2026, adjusted for inflation, that's $75,000 in today's dollars. The median household income in 2026, $81,000. So we're making more, right? About 8% more after inflation. That sounds like progress. Here's where it gets interesting. The Economic Policy Institute analyzed purchasing power from 1978 to 2026. What they found is striking. Your parents' generation saw wages track almost perfectly with productivity until 1978. Then something broke. Productivity kept climbing. Wages flatlined. Between 1979 and 2024, productivity increased 74.4%. Wages increased 12.4%. You're producing 6 times more value than your wage increase. Where did that money go? Up. Not to you. The National Association of Realtors looked at housing costs as a percentage of income. In 1995, the median home price was $110,000. Median income, $38,262. That's 2.9 times annual salary. In 2026, median home price, $475,000. Median income, $81,000. That's 5.9 times annual salary. Same house, double the income burden. And childcare. Childcare in 1995, most households had one income because one spouse could stay home. Childcare industry barely existed. In 2026, average childcare cost for one child is $18,600 per year. Both parents must work to survive, which means you're paying $18,600 just to be able to work. Think about that for a second. Let me introduce you to 2 people. Your dad, 1995, and you, 2026. I'm going to break down their actual lives, side by side, dollar for dollar. Your dad, age 32, manufacturing job, makes $38,000 per year. That's $3,167 per month gross. After taxes, about $2,650 take home. Your mom stays home with 2 kids, ages 4 and 6, one income household. Here's where the $2,650 went every month. Mortgage, $687. That's a $105,000 house, 30-year loan, 7.8% rate. 3-bedroom, decent neighborhood, good schools. 1 car payment, $280. 1992 Honda Accord, financing the $8,500 at 9% over 4 years. Gas, $120. Premium was $1.20 per gallon. Groceries, $320, feeding 4 people. Utilities, $115. Electricity, water, gas, garbage. Phone, $45. Landline, no internet, no cell phones. 1 line. Health insurance, $85. Employer covered most. Low deductible, no surprise bills. Life was simple. Total fixed costs, $1,652. Remaining, $998. For everything else, Clothes, repairs, savings, fun. And they did it. They had money left over. Now here's you, age 32. Marketing job. Makes $86,000 per year. That's $7,167 per month gross. After federal tax, state tax, FICA health insurance premiums, 401k contribution. Take home, $5,240. Your spouse also works, graphic designer, makes $58,000. Take home, $3,680. Combined take home, $8,920 per month. That's more than 3 times what your dad brought home. You should be crushing it. Let's see where it goes. Rent, not mortgage, rent. $2,400. 2-bedroom apartment, same neighborhood your dad's house was in. Good schools nearby. Doesn't matter, you're renting. Childcare, $1,550 per month. 1 kid, age 3. Daycare, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 5 days a week. Both of you must work. 2 car payments, $847. You each need a car, can't share when both working. Student loans, $620. You both went to college, your dad didn't. Health insurance premiums, $680. High deductible plan, $6,000 out of pocket before it covers anything. Cell phones, $145. 2 lines, unlimited data. You need them for work. Internet, $89. You work from home twice a week. Need good speed. Groceries, $850. Same food costs way more. We'll get to that. Gas, $320. Commuting from where you can afford rent, utilities. $185. Electricity alone is $120. Total fixed costs, $7,686. Remaining, $1,234. For savings, retirement, car repairs, medical copays, everything else. You make 3 times what your dad made. You have $236 more per month than he did. After accounting for 2 incomes, 2 cars, childcare, let that sink in. 3 times the income. Same lifestyle, same city, $236 more breathing room. Your dad looks at you and says, work harder. He has no idea the board got flipped. Now let me show you what actually happened, because this isn't random. This is by design. In 1978, something changed. The wage productivity link broke. Before 1978, when American workers produced more, they earned more. Simple. After 1978, workers produced more, but the money went somewhere else. Shareholders, executives, stock buybacks, not wages. Here's the visual. Draw a line from 1948 to 1978. Productivity goes up 30%. Wages go up 28%. They track together. Draw a line from 1978 to 2026. Productivity goes up 74%. Wages go up 12%. They diverge. That gap, that's $47,000 per year per worker. That's the money you should be making but aren't. Where did it go? Corporate profits hit record highs. CEO pay is up 1,460% since 1978. Worker pay, up 18%. You're producing more value than your dad ever did. You're getting paid a smaller share of it. That's not a you problem. That's a system problem. And housing, oh, housing. Your dad bought his house in 1995 for $105,000. Median income was $38,000. Lenders used the 28% rule. Your housing payment shouldn't exceed 28% of gross income. Your dad's mortgage, $687 per month. His income, $3,167 per month. That's 21.7%. Under budget, comfortable. The median home today, $475,000. Median income, $81,000. Down payment, 20%. That's $95,000 cash. Who has $95,000 cash? Then your mortgage at 7.2% on $380,000. $2,580 per month. Plus property tax, $420. Plus insurance, $280 per month. Median income gross, $6,750 per month. That's 48.6% of your income. You're supposed to keep it under 28%. You're at 48.6%. Not because you're bad at math. Because houses cost 6 times your salary instead of 3 times. And childcare didn't exist as an industry in 1995. Most families had 1-parent home. It was economically viable. Today, both parents must work. Average full-time daycare, $18,600 per year. Median household income, $81,000. That's 23% of your gross income, just for the privilege of being able to work. Your parents didn't have that expense. They had that parent at home providing value, cooking, cleaning, managing household, raising kids. That labor had value. You're paying $18,600 to outsource it because you have no choice. Both of you must work to afford the rent. You can't escape. Here is what makes me angry, and I mean genuinely furious. Your dad looks at you making $86,000 and thinks you're doing great. He made $38,000 and had a house. You're making double. You should have 2 houses, right? But he's not accounting for what changed. The house he bought for $105,000, that same house, same street, same schools, listed last month, $510,000. Let me say that again. His house, $105,000 in 1995. Same house, $510,000 in 2026. That's a 386% increase. His income, $38,000 in 1995. Your income, $86,000 in 2026. That's a 126% increase. The house went up 3 times faster than wages. He didn't get lucky. He bought in a system that worked. You're not unlucky. You're buying in a system that's broken. And college. Your dad didn't go to college, graduated high school, got a manufacturing job, made $38,000, supported a family. Today, that job requires a bachelor's degree, pays $42,000, and the degree costs $120,000. You graduate with $45,000 in debt, making barely more than he did, but you're $45,000 in the hole. He started at zero. You started at negative $45,000. And healthcare. In 1995, your dad's employer covered most of his health insurance. His premium, $85 per month, low deductible, $500 when something happened, insurance covered it. Today, your employer makes you pay $680 per month. For a high deductible plan, $6,000 out of pocket max. So you're paying $8,160 per year before insurance covers anything. Your dad paid $1,200 per year total. You're paying 8 times more for worse coverage. You seeing this? Every single system got more expensive, faster than wages grew. Housing, childcare, healthcare, education, and your parents look at you and say, why don't you just save more? They have no idea the game changed. Now, here's the part that breaks my heart a little. Your parents aren't lying. They're not making it up. They really did buy a house on $38,000. They really did have one income. It really was easier for them. And when they look at you, they genuinely don't understand. Because in their minds, they worked hard. You work hard. They made sacrifices. You make sacrifices. So why are their outcomes so different from yours? They think it's you, but it's not. I've had this conversation with my dad 6 times. He worked at the same manufacturing plant for 32 years, retired with a pension, union job, good benefits. That plant closed in 2004. Moved to Mexico, the jobs that replaced it pay 40% less. No pension, no union, no benefits. He got in before the door closed. You're standing outside a door that's locked, and he's on the other side yelling, just turn the knob. The knob doesn't turn anymore, Dad. They changed the locks. This is why you can't have the same calm conversation about money that your parents had. They were playing a game where the rules were stable. Work hard, get rewarded, buy a house, build equity. Stay at a company, get a pension. Every single one of those rules changed. Work hard, wages flatlined. Buy a house, prices quintupled. Stay at a company, they'll lay you off and hire someone cheaper. You're not failing at the game. You're playing a completely different game with the same name. And your parents are your biggest fans, cheering from the sidelines, using a rule book from 1995. So what do you do with this? Because here's where it gets tricky. You can't change the system overnight. You can't make housing prices drop. You can't make childcare affordable. You can't force wages to catch up to productivity. But you can change how you play. First, stop comparing yourself to your parents' outcomes. You're not going to have what they had at your age. Not because you're failing, because the math is impossible. They bought a house for 3 times their salary. You'd need to find a house for $240,000. Good luck. In most cities, that doesn't exist. So redefine success. Maybe success isn't a house at 28. Maybe it's financial stability at 32. Maybe it's $10,000 in the bank at 30. That's an achievement in this economy. Your parents don't understand that. They don't have to. You do. Second, have the hard conversation with your parents. Not angry, not defensive, just honest. Show them the numbers. Say, Dad, your mortgage was 22% of your income. The median mortgage today is 48% of income. I'm not bad at money. Money got bad at supporting people. Most parents, when they see the actual numbers, they get it. Some don't. That's okay. You're not seeking permission, you're seeking understanding. Third, focus on the things you can control. You can't control housing prices. You can control whether you're in a high-cost city that's not giving you career value. You can't control childcare costs. You can control whether you're optimizing tax strategies like dependent care FSA. You can't control wage stagnation. You can control whether you're negotiating aggressively every 2 years. The game is rigged. But there are still ways to win. They're just different ways than your parents used. Fourth, build the emergency fund your parents never needed. They had pensions, stable jobs, cheap housing. If something went wrong, they could handle it. You don't have those safety nets. So you have to build your own. $500 first, then $1,000. That's your safety net. It won't feel like enough. It never does, but it's better than zero. And zero is where most people are. Look, I want to leave you with something that might sound weird, but I think it's important. Your parents' life was real, and your life is real. Both things are true. They did have it easier in some ways. The math proves it. But they also worked hard. They made sacrifices. They didn't know the system was working in their favor. And you're working just as hard, making just as many sacrifices in a system that's working against you. That's not fair, but it's reality. The difference between you and your parents isn't effort. It's not discipline. It's not avocado toast or streaming services or any of that bullshit. The difference is when you were born, they were born into an economy where wages matched productivity, where housing cost 3 times your salary, where one income could support a family. You were born into an economy where productivity gains go to the top, where housing costs 6 times your salary, where 2 incomes barely cover rent. Neither of you chose your economy, but you both have to play in it. So stop beating yourself up for not having what they had at your age. The game is different. The outcomes will be different. And that's okay. You're not failing, you're adapting. And that's harder than anything they ever had to do. If this video helped you understand why the math doesn't work anymore, smash that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me what your parents made versus what you make. Let's compare notes. Send this to your parents. Have the conversation. The numbers don't lie. And maybe, just maybe, they'll stop asking why you don't just buy a house. I'll see you in the next one. And I promise, we're going to talk about what you can actually do to win in this rigged game. Let's get it.